Thank you, sir. Welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome to Mesa Morning Live. This has got to be an unbelievable treat for you.
I'm excited to be here. This is home for me.
It is home. Now, you grew up in Mesa, is that right?
I did, just down the street, Mesa Drive in Southern, went to Mesa High School. 3 brothers went there and a sister, so.
Oh, that's
home.
great. Well, yeah, sure. You've done Mesa proud. Thank you, congratulations. And I know when we asked the guest what's something we can talk about, I love this. I'm NCAA wrestling champ. You're the first guest we've ever had on Mesa Morning Live that can say that. So congratulations. Tell us a little bit about that. What year was that? What's your weight class?
It was in 2011. The weight class was 125 pounds. I don't weigh that anymore. But
yeah, you really let yourself go, Anthony. What about 127 now? Something like that?
Well, I went to Mesa High, started wrestling there, and walked on to the Arizona State program. And I was at ASU for 5 years. My senior year there was when I won the national championship. So it was a dream come true for me. About 10 years of training, but it was all worth it.
That's awesome. When did you start wrestling?
Actually, I started wrestling at 14 years old. So I'd never seen a match before. A cousin suggested it to me. And I just remember walking into the room here in Mesa High School, and I just got my butt kicked that first day. But I fell in love with the sport. So I went home, and I'm all beat up, bloody. I told my mom, I said, Mom, this is the funnest thing I've ever done. And you know, I'm saying this, I got like blood in my teeth. I'm smiling at her. And she's like, are you sure about that? And I said, yeah, this is what I want to do. And never looked back after that.
That's all. I love that your cousin told you should do it. Were you always beating that cousin up or something like that?
No, he was always beating me up. So I figured I needed to learn something to give him some payback. So.
Well, that's awesome. And so you went, 14 to NCAA champ. That's a small window of getting good.
Yeah, it was, usually wrestlers start pretty young, but I just had the passion for the sport, and I had some great coaching at Mesa High School. And luckily for me, a good friend of mine who was a future national gold medalist, Olympic gold medalist, Henry Cejudo, didn't live too far away. So we got to train together all summer long. And so in a short time, I was able to learn a lot from some great coaching. So.
Wow, that's awesome. So now what's, I was going to say post-wrestling, do you still wrestle?
I'm still training.
Yeah.
I'm considering the Olympics, but right now I'm really focusing on my motivational speaking career.
Well, I know that's where you're going. I just didn't know if when you quit wrestling, you quit. Like a golfer, you can go out and hit some golf balls. What do you just, I'm going to go roll around the mat a little while.
Yeah. Yeah.
But once a wrestler, always a wrestler, I'm
exactly.
Sure. So now I know that the main thing you're doing is doing a lot of motivational speaking. And give us a little, I'm sure you command big bucks for that, but give us a free little taste of what you talk about.
Basically, I have one slogan. It's being unstoppable. I like to say that we all wrestle with life's challenges, whether it be physical, family, work. We all have something that we have to overcome. And, it's not about what you're wrestling with. It's about having that mindset to where you tell yourself, I'm unstoppable. I can always figure out a way to get through this, and I don't have to let the challenge become an excuse to fail. So.
That's awesome. So the year you were national champ, did you lose any matches that year?
36-0 that year.
Wow. That's pretty good. That's impressive. I can't believe they found 36 idiots to wrestle you, but that's very impressive. Do you remember how many losses did you have at ASU?
Let's see. I know my first year there, I had about 15.
Okay.
Second year, about 10. Third year was about 4 or 5, and then undefeated after that. So
yeah, you got to quit then. What are you going to get better than that? That's awesome. Did those times when you didn't win, is that what made you unstoppable? Do you think? Is that what drove you to train a little harder than the next guy?
Oh, absolutely. The way I see it, I was reading this book from Drew Brees, and he said that you learn more from your challenges and your defeats than when you win. He's like, when you're challenged, that's when you really have to restructure some certain things and try to figure out how to build. And so the losses forced me to improve. They forced me to look at my wrestling style and figure out what I needed to change to better myself. And I hated losing, but it helped me to prepare for my senior year. So
yeah, sometimes the tough times do really make you grow. Think about how this is going to help you, being on this show. It's cool that you talk about Drew Brees, that you read his, did he have a book?
He did.
Because there's a guy that was told he was too small to be a professional football player. because he's like 5'10" or whatever, and he's done all right.
Yeah.
Looking back, I'm sure you had a lot of people that said, you can't wrestle. It's got to be fun for you to see them now. You got do you have a big gold medal? Is that how you get that? What do you get when you win the NCAAs? Obviously, it's been a while. I can't remember what I got.
Get this nice championship ring right there.
Oh, well, that's cool.
Yeah, so I had some people that doubted me. I know, especially coming out of high school, I was blessed to be a 2-time state champion out of Mesa High. And, as an athlete, you want to be wanted. You want to be able to see your options. And I was looking to go to college and wrestle somewhere, but I wasn't recruited. They said I was too small, and they didn't think, because me missing my leg, they didn't think I could excel in college. So I wasn't recruited, didn't get any offers, but ASU, they gave me a phone call, and they said, we want you to try to walk onto the program. They said, you can earn a scholarship here, just prove yourself. And so it was nice to just get the opportunity. That's all I wanted. And it was nice to stand at the top of that podium at the end and prove people wrong. So
it's got to be fun to wear that ring around those people that told you no. And I'd be doing this a lot.
Flash it up a little bit.
Yeah. Well, cool. So what kind of people do you deliver your talk to? Do you corporations like Crescent Crown, or all these folks here? These are dynamic business people.
I've been blessed. It's been a lot of fun because I get to do many different types of groups. I know I've spoken at high schools, universities, colleges, even professional sports teams, big companies. I'm actually flying to Tampa Bay next week to speak to Cigna. And so, it's been amazing. I've even spoken at some halfway houses. So I've just been blessed. And the way I look at it, there were some great people in my life who helped me get to the national championship. And I want to kind of turn around and do that for someone else. Just help them over one speed bump or whatever. Just help them just to keep moving forward towards them being unstoppable. So it's my way of kind of giving back.
That's awesome. And you probably know I'm getting a new car. A 300 convertible for my hair.
Those are sweet.
And I know you have a friendship and a relationship with Big Al over there. Tell me about that a little bit.
I do. It's been about a year that I've been with Big Al in Superstition Springs, and it's been amazing. They're like an extension of my family. Got an awesome Challenger from that dealership. I love it. I'm a car guy, so.
Oh, yeah?
But it's been great. I've done a couple of commercials with Big Al and done some book signings there, and just what they're doing and just being part of the community it's amazing. It's an honor for me to be associated with such great people at Superstition Springs. So.
And your book is called Unstoppable, right?
It is. Mm-hmm.
I wish if I had one here, I'd do this and we'd sell gazillions of them. Where can these folks get Unstoppable?
It's at Barnes & Noble, Amazon. We have an audio version on iTunes. And so it's selling really well right now. Jay Leno wrote the foreword, and we're kind of using that as a springboard. So we're working on the movie deal next.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, now Anthony's a very modest guy, but talk a little bit about your movie deal, and then I'll talk about mine. I'm working on a movie deal. I got a deal. Now, you laugh, but hear me out. If I buy a ticket to Harkins, I get a free popcorn. So that's my movie deal. Beat that. Tell me about yours.
It's been a lot of fun. We're working on closing the script right now, finding the script writer, and we got some great options. Greg Howard, who wrote Remember the Titans. We have the guy who wrote Friday Night Lights, Flight with Denzel Washington. So I'll be flying out to Hollywood in about a week to pick the script writer. We'll work from there, and my manager is he's estimating that between 2 and 3 years it'll be out and in theaters. So
that's awesome. So who plays you? You?
No, they asked
Denzel?
me.
Denzel?
I like Denzel. Yeah. That's my number one
How
choice.
could you not say that? Yeah.
But I told him I want to do the wrestling scenes and have someone else do the acting. I think it'd be kind of weird for someone behind a camera to tell me how to act as myself on a movie. So.
Yeah, you're doing Anthony all wrong.
Yeah, exactly.
Dude, I'm doing me. That's awesome. I bet, look at it, we got a lot of anxious people out here, and we've got a roving microphone somewhere, so there it is. There's Glenn's got it. Anybody have a question? There we go, right up front here.
Since you have an association with Big Al, I'd like to see who would win the match.
See, we got to find a weight class we can meet at first, though.
Don't take this the wrong way, but you kind of look like Al's mini-me.
Got the nice color on.
Yeah, I like it. It's
sharp.
awesome. You know what's funny, and you couldn't see this, those of you at home, but when you asked that question, show them what you did, Al. He pointed. Yeah. You don't ever want to mess with a wrestler because they'll take you to the ground and it's all over. Next question. I bet somebody's got, oh, there we go, right behind you, Glenn.
I'd just like to know how you came about to have Jay Leno write the foreword for your book.
Actually, I was honored to receive the Jimmy V Award for Perseverance at the ESPYs. And I didn't know it, but when I got there, it was about an hour before it was going live on ESPN. They said, yeah, Jay Leno's going to be the one who's going to give you the award. And so you know, I'm already nervous. This is my first big speech on TV, and now Jay Leno's giving me the award. So I was backstage, and I just kept fumbling up my speech. I was just saying it out loud. And Jay walked up behind me, and just super nice guy. He started talking to me, trying to get me to relax. He's like, is this harder than winning a national championship? I said, no. He said, well, just remember that when you go out there, you're going to be fine. And we just struck up a friendship after that. He invited me on his show twice. I know one of them was on my 23rd birthday. So, you know, he had happy birthday cupcakes for me. They sang happy birthday on set. So we've been friends ever since. And you know, he was more than willing to write the foreword for me. Great guy, and we still stay close. So.
No, that's awesome. Yeah. And you know what? Not to go too far in the weeds on this, but Jay's a guy that's unstoppable too. Right. They told him years ago that, and he laughs about it. He goes, he was told he'd never be on TV because he would scare small children with his jaw, and he's done all right for himself. So, next question.
Anthony, I wrestled in high school as well, and my favorite move was the fireman's carry. I'm just curious, what's your favorite offensive move?
Well, my favorite move, it's a somersault. So when I have my opponent on the mat, I'm on top of him, I flip over and I throw him on top of me, on his back. I call it the Robles roll. It's kind of my trademark move. You can see it in the finals, all my matches. It was my favorite. And it's pretty neat now because my brother, he's a freshman at Mesa High. He just started wrestling, and he's already hitting it. So everybody knows he's my little brother because he's doing it now. So it's pretty neat.
You know, that would be a cool move to see. Al, come up here. Let's see. I remember my favorite move was I cried a lot and went like that. And then people would quit messing with me. Eric, did you have a question? I saw a hand kind of go up. Eric's a fit guy. What do you think? What's your body fat percentage?
I know when I was at ASU, it was 2.5%.
What?
When I was cutting down to 25, yeah.
Mine's got a 2 and a 5 in it too, but that's awesome. Next question. Anybody for, this gentleman is unstoppable. Tell us a little bit about, was it hard for you to write a book? Was it hard to, does the book cover your whole life?
The book did cover my whole life, and you know, I got to work with a great ghostwriter, Austin Murphy from Sports Illustrated, and so it took about 6 months. You know, we just trying to figure out what we wanted to cover in the book, and there were certain areas when it came out, we're like, okay, you know, I really like this. I want to kind of expand on it, and you know, doing the motivational speaking, I'm up on stage for maybe 45 minutes speaking, so I can say certain things, but I can't really get everything out that I want to say.
Right.
So my book was the way to put it all out there. You know, my challenges, the things I went through that I sometimes don't feel comfortable talking about, and just really putting my real life story out there. You know, not just saying, okay, you know, it's easy, you can be unstoppable. I show my failures, I show the times when I wanted to quit and kept going. So, you know, it's my way of hopefully inspiring someone who's reading it.
Did you ever have a time at ASU where you just thought, I've bitten off more than I can chew? I'm guessing it was your first year, not your last year. And I just can't do this. Did that ever creep in your mind? Because we all face those self-doubts every day. Yeah,
actually I did. And believe it or not, it was more towards the end of my career at ASU. It was my junior season there. And I remember being at the national tournament. I was ranked 4th in the country. They had projected me as a possible winner that season. And mentally, I was just drained. It was a long wrestling season. I had family things going on. My parents were going through a divorce. My mom, she was basically a single parent. My dad wasn't helping, so I had 4 siblings she was taking care of. And so, I'm just stressed out about them. So I'm at this tournament and get to the quarterfinals. I ended up losing with 30 seconds left by 2 points to a guy I'd beaten earlier on the season. And so that one it crushed me. I finished the tournament 7th, which isn't bad, but I won it first. And so I just remember walking off the mat, off the podium, saying, okay, that's it, I'm done. Not coming back. I don't want to do it anymore. Wow. But I just remember getting this stack of letters that summer. It was a group of 3rd graders out in Atlanta. And they had seen the match on ESPN. They'd read an article on me. And so they wanted to write me as their hero of the week. And so they were just writing to cheer me up. They said, we're looking forward to watching you next season. You're our favorite wrestler. And me reading that just inspired me to come back because I felt like, I couldn't quit. I wasn't wrestling for more than just myself now. And, I wanted to practice what I preached. So came back senior year stronger than ever.
Wow. Well, there's a couple of lessons, sure. There's a couple of lessons there. Not only did you learn, but that little moment of inspiration you might give somebody else might just be all they need to keep them going and keep them unstoppable too. So maybe if we're all a little nicer the way those 3rd graders were to you, this would be a better world. Well, cool. Anything else you'd like to share with us, or any other questions? Yes, sir.
What was your single most challenging thing you've experienced? I know you've had a lot of challenges, but what's the single most challenging?
I think the single most challenging was just developing that confidence in myself, when I got into wrestling, because I struggled quite a bit with it. And there were a lot of people who said I couldn't do it. I mean, outside of my family, people felt sorry for me. And they said, well, you're missing a leg. You don't expect much. And so that was frustrating for me.
Did you tell them thanks? You hadn't noticed?
Yeah, I know. But so I think that was the hard thing for me was, just when I was outside of my family, just getting that confidence in myself. Just saying, okay, it's rough now, but I got to keep pushing forward. And, I was last place in the Mesa my first year as a freshman, but, finished far from that. So the hardest thing was just getting that confidence. I had to learn to use that negativity as motivation to drive myself.
That's awesome. When you talk to organizations or groups or whatever, do you kind of customize a little bit of your stuff and talk about?
I do, yeah, and I've done speeches as short as 10 minutes and as long as an hour. And it's just depending on the group and what they're looking for. But I've gotten to the point now where I'm comfortable tailoring things, changing things up, and I'm having a lot of fun with it. My speaking's going great, and just having an amazing time just meeting some awesome people and hearing their stories as well.
Did you, on your audio version of your book, are you the voice that does it?
I have some small clips in it, but it's a different guy speaking, and his name's Chip Chippewa. It's a cool name too. Yeah. But he's got a nice deep voice in there. So.
You know who else has got a deep, nice voice? My car guy over there. It's hooking me up. Well, any other questions? Otherwise, we're going to cut everybody loose. But man, I'll tell you, any last call for questions? Because he's unstoppable. He'll stay here all day. Don't think you. Yep, got another question here from Glenn. He's coming around for you.
Will you ever coach wrestling?
I'm still considering it, yes. I know I was a volunteer coach at Arizona State, but the opportunity came up to where I could be a color commentator with ESPN for wrestling. So this will be my 3rd year with ESPN. You can see me March 17th, 18th, and 19th doing the commentating there at Nationals. And so because I took that job with the NCAA rules, I couldn't be an official coach. And I said, well, you can't turn down ESPN. Yeah. So,
does one pay better than the other?
A little bit, yeah. So I'm volunteer coaching still at Mesa High School. I think probably one day I would like to be a coach down the road, though. So I'm just having fun doing the motivational speaking, the commentating, and had a lot of amazing opportunities that are coming up. So someday I will be a coach.
Is this still home for you?
Oh, yeah. This is.
You're not going to move to Malibu and you're not going to go big time on us.
I'm an Arizona boy. This is home for me. Mom's at Arizona
awesome.
State now, so I'm not going anywhere.
That's awesome. Well, I'll tell you what, if you've ever tried to wrestle in junior high or whatever, I thought I wanted to wrestle in high school because I thought it was like pro wrestling and I got the big robes. and stuff like that. And then I found out it's a lot of work. It's the hardest thing I've ever done. So, man, my cap's off to you.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure to, like I said, you're the first of all the cool people we've had here. You're the first NCAA champ we've ever had here at Mesa Morning Live. Any other questions? Otherwise, I'm going to cut him loose. Ladies and gentlemen, how about a nice round of applause for the unstoppable and